So let's get into it. The first story. So this is from WGAU Radio. Kim Porter sentenced to 24 months with credit for killing Daunte Wright, the former Minneapolis area police officer who shot and killed a police motorist, learned her fate in a Minnesota courtroom Friday. Judge Regina Chu sentenced Kim Porter to a total of 24 months with 16 months served in prison. The remainder to be served on supervised release. She will also be credited for the time she also served, 58 days. Porter was sentenced for first-degree manslaughter under the state law. The Associated Press reported the conviction could have the potential of just over 6 years to 8.5 in prison. The presumptive sentence was about 7 years. Kim Porter was convicted on December 23rd of manslaughter for the death of Daunte Wright. Aubrey Wright, which is Daunte Wright's mother, said that the sentence in his son's death was a slap on the wrist. So, fellas, I don't know if you guys paid close attention to this case. Black Zeus, this is your storyline. I don't know if you want to lead with any thoughts.
Slap on the wrist and a slap in the face.
I'm pretty sure you guys saw the news report during around the time of freaking George Floyd and everything in the same freaking state of Minnesota that George Floyd got killed in. Another cop did a regular routine pullover traffic stop, and the whole thing is that she went to go get the paperwork or whatever to run the report on the kid, and she told the kid, she had the kid get out the car, and after that she told the kid that she was going to do the background paperwork or whatever case was. Kid was standing there waiting for a while, and then he decided, you know what, I'm getting tired of getting bored with this. I'm gonna sit in the car on my phone like a typical kid getting on social media or something. She runs up, basically saying like, what are you doing? Let me see your hands, whatever. And supposedly mistakes her firearm for a taser. Now, mind you, standard issue is that a taser is on the opposite side of your firearm. It is not in the same position as your firearm. So that way you, one, don't make the same mistake. And two, the fact of it doesn't get in the way. And if you know anything about a holster is made so that only the person who is wearing it can pull the weapon out of the holster. Police issue, standard issue holsters are made so that only the person wearing it can pull it out the holster because of the angle that it's at. Not so that way someone else, if you were fighting someone else, they couldn't pull your weapon out the holster. No taser is built like a pistol. Another aspect you should probably know about. The weight of a pistol versus the weight of a taser, completely different. All right. So everything about it is different, but yet she claims that she made the mistake, but yet she still dropped a couple bullets into this kid because she pulled the trigger more than once.
Yeah.
So now
your thoughts, though. Now that you summarized everything, what are your thoughts, brother?
Well, yeah, this nigga, he gave a very fucking detailed history. That's for damn sure.
Bro, I know weapons. This is what I do. Okay, I train cops. I train military personnel. This is what I do. So it was just like to hear this bullshit. I'm like, are you shitting me, right? It was an accident. You mistake a taser. You mistake a firearm for a taser.
A taser, yeah.
Like, miss me with the bullshit.
Real quick, how long she served? And then Cal, jump in. How long she's been part of the Minneapolis police?
That I don't remember. At the end of the day, it doesn't even matter whether she served, 1 day or 100 years. I don't really care. At the end of the day, you have a high responsibility as an officer carrying a weapon that can take someone's life. That you have a high responsibility with what you do with that weapon. In my personal opinion, you can't just go around firing that shit every time you see a black kid. Spook you out a little bit or whatever the case is.
Yeah, well.
All right, Cal. Go ahead,
I
brother.
mean, I don't know. The most glaring thing to me is the fact that she only got 2 years for killing somebody.
Exactly.
Like
that's 16 months of good behavior. So to get out in 16.
And then the taser, you just fucking push the button and hold that shit. So like for you to be firing multiple rounds, like it's not like, what the fuck is wrong? Is this shit not working? So like you're clearly, firing that shit. My thoughts, I mean,
since 1995.
My thoughts, overall thoughts, is that I'm not really surprised that this shit happened. So that as far as the entire verdict, that's really all I got. It ain't really nothing new. So whatever.
Smith.
Well, I concur with all the pieces that you just said, except the last part of whatever. But but it's nothing new. It was I'm familiar with this case. I thought that she was going to get off totally free. She was only looking at 7 years, which I think is still
light work.
Yeah. Basically, you're saying that a young black life is worth 7 years. Take them off and you get 7 years. Now she's only getting 2 years with 58 days served. That shit's whack as hell. It's a slap on the wrist. The judge even themselves said they didn't even want to do that, but they felt like they had to do something. But it's more. It's just more the same. It's just more the same. You got to be mindful, young people out here, to know that when you come in contact with these cops, like the more things change, the more they stay the same. That's all it is, man. That shit is a
I'm outraged. I'm fucking outraged.
My heart goes out to
it got the fact of it's like if she had got 7 years, which typically the sentence falls between 6 and 8 for manslaughter, I'd been like, all right, that's standard. All right, that would have been standard. But the fact that she got 2 years, which is below the standard, and she's getting out in 16 months, and that the judge herself who tried her was crying as she's handing her the sentence, as if like, oh, the injustice to you, the person who gets to go home to your family after 16 months versus the kid who lost his life and never even got a chance to, become anything, do anything, and never will. Like, that's who you feel bad for? Like, that's who the judge feels bad for?
This is very unfortunate. Again, I don't know anything about the laws surrounding Minneapolis police and how they deal with these matters. It definitely comes across as reek of the same old, protect the blue, especially if it's a black life involved. Not to say that this doesn't happen with white lives or any other ethnic group lives, but definitely with the bloodstain of America that tend to have with this sort of dynamic. But I don't know, man. I got to do a lot. I don't know. This shit just comes across as, I don't know. It's just the whole Black death porn sort of thing that just makes me cold inside. You get enough of this shit where you just like, it's just another day, man. But there's a lawyer that I can't wait to give a breakdown of this, because Nate the lawyer, I love his assessments on this shit, and he's set to release his commentary and court breakdown as to why this officer got what he got. She got what she got.
I'll tell you why she got what she got, because she's a white female and she's a cop.
She's a white female, exactly.
That's why she got what she got, And I don't think.
I see that, but I want to get the technical, but I want to get the technical breakdown though. Like, I get that, but at the same time, I still want to be educated as to how this is even possible. Even though the obvious is there, I still want to be educated though. I just don't want to be emotional about how we got here. What's up?
But my whole thing is this, right? My whole thing is the fact of, someone would say like, well, you're just saying that because it's a black kid, this and the other. And I'm just like, yo, if America saw white kids getting gunned down by police like this on television and being tried, if it was a common thing in the white community, you think that, white America would allow this shit to keep going?
It does happen in white America, though.
I'm sure it happens, but what I'm saying is when it's televised, it might happen in small pockets.
Happens, bro. I'm telling you, there's a YouTube page called Police Caught on Camera. And there's a lot of incidents with white people getting gunned down by police officers. This, I talked to a couple of people about this, and Joanna knew somebody who worked for a news network, and it's purpose in regards of which gets coverage and which doesn't, which story doesn't get covered. I'm not saying that it's disproportionate. I'm just saying that I feel like some of the police shootings we tend to get gives off a certain narrative. And I feel like if we see all the police shootings, I think we could question the police tactics more so than calling it just strictly a racial issue.
I co-sign with that, and that's my thing. Is the fact of all I'm saying is the fact of if you saw it on national television, the way you see it with black victims, if you saw white victims, Asian victims, then you'd have people rally together to say, no, the police need to be put on a leash.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is, you get too many of people, that's, closed off in their own little pocket and think it would never happen to them. And they just think, oh, well, if the black kid complied, if the black kid wasn't wearing a hoodie, if the black kid wasn't, bumping his music so loud. But when they know it can happen to the fucking Tom, Dick, and Harry on their block, when they know it can happen to Julianne on their block, then they might think twice, like, oh, wait a minute, maybe we need to think twice about the way police handle shit.
Not for nothing, she had 26 years on her force.
That was my other thing. That's why I brought up the years.
So she's well experienced.
A little bit of time because she was white.
But you're not telling me you didn't know the fucking difference.
Telling me that a doctor on the job is going to do surgery and sew up the fucking surgical utensil in you after 26 years.
Yeah.
That shit doesn't happen.
Actually, that does happen.
Not after 26 years. You hear what I'm saying? I didn't say
it can't. No, I'm just saying.
And after 26 years, that doesn't happen. You don't make mistakes like that in your job, in your profession. After 26 years, do you make common mistakes with your fitness? After 26 years? Because I don't make mistakes in my teaching profession, bro. Not those kind of mistakes.
Not that egregious.
Not life-threatening
like that, bro. I don't make those kind of mistakes.
My only question with the whole thing, though, is just going back to the point that Cash was making with the white officer getting shot, is the follow through the same, though. So the officer who shoots the white person, do they get fucking 2 years after murdering them? I'm not saying, the question isn't that, we do know they get gunned down, but is the punishment as equal?
We never know because
that's not necessarily true.
Well, I mean, there's a way to figure it out.
What I'm saying, with Kid Schubert, hold up. Two things. One, I agree. That's why I brought up the years of service, because it's damning when you serve that many years and you make such a fucking disastrous mistake. Exactly. And to your point, Kelvin, in regards to the police sentencing involved in white shooting or other ethnic group shooting, the problem is they don't get the same media coverage, so therefore we don't pay attention to what their sentencings are. So it's just like, to say that's not true, it is true. Like, people, name me 10 high-profile cases where there was a white victim who was shot in the past 5 years.
Well, honestly,
because it happened. Just name it.
No, but here, I'm trying to remember the top off my head. But I believe it was
because we could rattle off so many black instances, but I'm just saying the reason why I say this, because this is a question of police training, police protection. I agree with a lot of the progressive liberals in regards of eliminating the amnesty that these police officers do have in regards of when they find themselves caught up in these situations. In regards of there should be stricter penalty There should be a better federal base to monitor these sort of incidents. There's none of that. But in regards of the racial component, I think you could get more outrage. You could get more outrage out of other ethnic groups if the media cover all police shootings the same.
Oh, that's what I was saying. I totally agree with that. If America saw, not just black kids getting shot on national television, and they saw other races being shot, then they would say the police are the problem, not the kid.
Yeah. So I think, but this is tragic, man. Like, again, I'll send the video once Nate the lawyer breaks this down as to how that sentencing come about, because I think we also need to be intellectually informed. Now, we could still disagree with the sentencing, but I still think that we need to be intellectually informed as to how a sentence of 24 months is served for first-degree manslaughter, because, I think it's just the right thing to do, so that when we enter our own separate circles and we have these discussions, we are as much informed as possible.
Listen, the reality is as long as there's always loopholes in the law, and that the law could be, I don't want to say manipulated, but bent, twisted, and that you can find these small loopholes and you can sway the judge and the whoever's prosecuting the defendant. As long as you can sway them and say, well, this person's been a loyal police officer for the last 26 years, and they've done this, and they're a mother, this, that, then you could sway that argument and actually get them to bring the sentence down. You know what I mean? Because the whole thing is, they don't have a quantified way to say, well, you get 5 points for this, you get 8 points for that, and we'll deduct. It's not like doing your taxes, where it's like a clear system. It's a system that can be manipulated through emotion.
Well, that's true too, but also we underestimate the power of police unions. I remember, similar to like some of the issues that we hear with teachers union. When you got a bad cop or a bad teacher and stuff, it's hard to get rid of them. They get transferred to other locations and jurisdictions. But I remember listening to one lawyer, a prosecutor, and he said that typically when a cop is involved in situations like this, they give a slap on the wrist a lot of times, because the cops are what makes the prosecutor job easy. And if you have this sort of tension between the police department and the prosecutors, it becomes a shit show. So that, like, you had that sort of dynamic, and I hate that dynamic exists where police officers can't be held accountable for their wrongdoings. But like, that also plays a factor too. It's a weird, it's fucked up, man. It's a lot of things that leads to these sort of injustices to come about. But man,
that's exactly why people had the insurrection, at the Capitol, because they're tired of government fucking them over.
I've been said this shit, man. Fuck, man, my relationship with cops and the government is just, I'm trying not to be on a watch list.
Hey.
You already got Smith going off. I can't be on that same watch list. All right, next news story, man. I thought this was interesting. This is from Axios. Gunmaker Remington to pay $73 million to settle a lawsuit with Sandy Hook families. Remington Arms on Tuesday agreed to a $73 million settlement of a liability claims from 9 families of Sandy Hook's shooting victims, according to court documents and lawyers for the families. Why it matters: it's the first time in the U.S. a gun manufacturer has been held responsible for a mass shooting, ABC News report. Driving the news, families of 5 adults and 4 children killed in the shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary sued the gunmaker nearly 8 years ago for its marketing practices, claiming that Remington recklessly marketed a military-grade gun to civilians. The plaintiff in this action hereby give notice that a settlement agreement has been executed between the parties, according to court filing. Bushmaster AR-15 rifle was used in the December 12th shooting, which killed 20 children and 6 adults in Newton, Connecticut. just wanted to get you guys started in regards of holding companies responsible for, in this case, a gun manufacturer responsible for an unfortunate mass shooting event.
I'm okay with it if you're going to hold every time someone stabs somebody with a knife, hold the knife company responsible. When somebody bashed somebody in the head with a hammer, hold that person responsible, hold that company responsible. Somebody hit somebody with a bat, hold that person responsible. A pipe, hold that company responsible. If you're going to do that shit, do it across the board. It's like, I'm sorry, you smothered somebody with a pillow, hold the pillow company responsible. Don't hold the person responsible. Don't hold
fucking
the law
Quaker Oats responsible when the bitch burned a nigga with hot grits.
You ain't right. Leave Marvin Gaye alone.
Yo, hold McDonald's responsible McDonald's responsible when that fat ass person in your family dies from a massive heart attack from eating too many fucking cheeseburgers. Like, are we serious right now? Are we really serious right now? I'm okay with you saying, listen, we need to curtail these laws so that people can't get military grade weapons. You know, all right, I could see your argument with that. It's a slippery slope, but I see your argument with that. But to say you're going to hold the manufacturers responsible, do you hold the people? Do you hold the cigarette company responsible when your auntie or uncle, dies of lung cancer? Come on now, this ain't just bullshit.
They have tried to hold them responsible, but the difference with this one, though, and holding them responsible, it was how it's the quote of the recklessly marketing the military grade to civilians. It's that part, how they marketed the weapon.
I want to see the commercial.
McDonald's is it recklessly advertising their hamburgers. All these other companies that you just mentioned, they're not recklessly advertising their baseball bats and shit, but to recklessly advertise a gun for a civilian that they're going to take and go out and actually kill people is different. You don't see them using the bats on there and saying, hey, take this bat and you can kill 30, 40 people with it. But when you watch those channels like Dare Tales where they got the bow and arrows and the Bushmasters and they showing you, sometimes they do recklessly market them shit. So,
but what network is that on though? Because that sounds like that's a specific.
That on TV though.
It's on TV, okay? Because usually, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. Well, here's my thing, right? Are you going to use that same logic when you go on Hot 97 and they have a Popeyes commercial and they have that Aunt your mama, down south nigga voice come on, like, I taught my baby right. She knows how to get a good meal. Popeyes, 6-piece chicken and 3 biscuits. That's a great deal. Like, you don't say that shit.
What?
Right?
You lost me on there though, man.
Huh?
You lost me with that. Bruh. That one don't got nothing to do with.
My point is, they market to their target audience, the people that are most likely to buy their product.
But it's what you.
Go ahead, Cal.
It's what you mark. It's like what you're saying when you're marketing it. Like I don't know exactly what they mean by reckless. Like maybe they're not saying.
Unless they were saying, "Hey, this is the best gun to go shoot up a school."
So, yes,
which
exactly.
I highly doubt.
Exactly.
I highly doubt. Like if you're telling me that they're selling it on a hunting show. You didn't tell me they were selling it at a terrorist, convention, at a KKK rally. You said a hunting show.
Yep. Like, yo, you ever feel like killing a nigga? We got just a thing for you.
Exactly. If that's what they were saying, go get them. If that's what they're saying, then go get them. But if they're like, hey, you want to light up that deer? You want to shoot that rabbit? You want to kill that elk, that buck, whatever the case is? Here's the best gun. This shit dumps out 3 bullets per second. Da 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 da. You know what I mean? It's your American right.
Yo, how do you advertise a gun like not recklessly? Like, what does that look like? If you're trying to get a nigga to buy something that shoots and kills something.
That's a good. Yeah, I tried my darnest to find this because I saw this statement, the recklessly marketed that military grade weapon, and I tried my hardest to find just. Not only that particular ad, gun
commercial,
but exactly, Schubert. I was trying to find a host of gun commercials, and I'm like, yo, they don't have television slots like that unless there is like a particular show that's geared towards hunting, and they're able to get an ad slot for it during that show slot. I don't know, man. This is that slippery slope where it's just like, are we now, and Black Zeus took all the talking point, are we now going to hold every other manufacturing company for the mass heart attacks that come along with eating a cheeseburger? Like, I don't know, man. This just doesn't, I know the family's grieving. I know this money's not going to necessarily really do much for them in regards of getting those loved ones back. But this settlement doesn't feel right. It doesn't sit right.
Like, I'm okay with them saying we need to tighten up gun laws. Hey, motherfuckers got to pass a psychological test or something. And because Prad, hold up, Prad, myself, Kevin, you got a weapon? You got a firearm?
No.
Hawk, you got a firearm?
Yeah.
Okay. So, me, Prad, and Hawk, we all know it ain't that hard. It ain't that hard. They don't even take you in for like a cycle. All you need to have is a clean background.
Yes.
That's essentially it.
That's essentially it.
It's not that hard. They don't test to see if you can handle the weapon. Like, hey, it's not like, getting a
it's not even required training.
Like, it's not even like with a driver's license where they got, okay, you got to take this test. After you take this test, we got to see you parallel park. We got to see you put the car in gear and this, that, and the other. Nope. You want a gun? Hold up. Let me see. No, you ain't got no records. You ain't got no felony. Here's your gun.
Yeah, what other license can you get without having to pass some type of test?
Fishing.
A
fishing license, marriage license. Okay.
Yeah, marriage license. Ain't nobody told me like, hold.
A boat license, bro. You don't gotta prove you could drive a boat before you get a boat license.
No, I don't think you do.
Word? Damn.
You got to take some type of course, though, because I remember Lachelle was about to do her high school reunion, and they rented a boat, and they was saying that they got, they ain't having money to hire a sailor, so they wanted somebody else to drive a boat. One of the graduates to drive a boat.
You probably got to take a course.
They're saying you got to take a course. That's what I'm saying.
Nah, yeah. I can only think about marriage license. That's the only license.
You gotta do anything. He said marriage license.
Yeah, fisherman's license. I guess you ain't gotta do nothing now.
Marriage license. You should have to go to class, of course, first.
Fish, gun, potato, right?
Yep, pretty much.
Fish.
Because I tell you right now, as soon as we had the lockdowns of COVID, people ain't got their gun license. Their gun permit.
Yeah.
You talking to one of them.
Dudes that got arsenals, okay?
Woke up this morning.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my hands on a shotgun.
You got yourself a gun.
Bruh, that's what this pandemic did to me. I saw the worst in people.
I was like, now seeing that?
Man, yeah, no, I've always seen it, but you definitely got to see the worst in people during this whole shutdown. But
magnifying.
Yeah, it's magnified. You just like, damn, man, shit, we in a health crisis. We are want to gun each other down for some bullshit. Actually, not. What's that hurricane? Hurricane Sandy. I remember when before Governor Christie implemented the odd even numbers on your license plates to go to the gas stations. Yo, motherfuckers.
Oh, I remember that.
Motherfuckers was getting robbed at the gas station for their gas, bro. Yeah.
The odd even.
Yeah, the odd evens, man. Shit, me and the wife went down to South Jersey to get some gas and load up for some canisters. But yo, Cass was getting their fucking car siphoned, and it was crazy. So yeah, that wasn't the first. I think that was the first time I saw the worst in people. It's just like, damn, bro.
Shit.
Like a mass amount of people. You just like
changing license plates and shit.
Yeah. Man. Anyway, man, yeah, I thought that story was interesting, but like, it was good talking points. All right, next one. This is a lengthy one. This might stir up Black Zeus. This might stir up Smith. And Kelvin might be saying whatever.
I should have put that shit I sent to y'all as a news article, man. That's all right. Maybe next week.
Yeah, next week, bro. This is from the Business Insider. Single women are losing in today's economy. Sometimes it feels as if everyone is pushing women to get married, even the U.S. government. While more millennials
They just can't win.
While more millennials are postponing and foregoing marriage, the economy hasn't caught up. Single people pay more for housing, social life, and taxes, and they get paid less. The Institute for Family Studies analysis of U.S. Census data found that a record 35% of U.S. adult ages 25 to 50 had never married as of 2018. In 1970, that share sat at 9%. It's a sign of both distress and progress as millennials created a new version of the American dream. The single life has become more socially acceptable and preferable for many. But while the stigma has shifted, the economic system that incentivizes marriages hasn't. The cost of being single show up in everything from social life to the tax code, housing, and health insurance. I'm going to skip down to the most interesting point. About 65% of single women reported that they would rather not wait until they were married to buy homes, according to data from Bank of America released last month. So far, 1 in 3 have bought, but Kathy Cunnings, a senior vice president of home ownership solution at Bank of America, told Insider that many single women don't feel financially ready to buy a home of their own, even if they're emotionally ready. In her book, Spinster, Making a Life of One's Own, the author and journalist Kate Bollock explores the appeal of choosing a single life for millions of American women. Study shows that a woman who lives alone is more likely to have an active social life and maintains family bonds, which is an interesting point. She wrote, not because she has extra time on her hands, but because these are the bonds that sustain her. But maintaining this bigger social network can be expensive when you're doing it by yourself. It means fewer dinners at home alone, more drinks out with coworkers or dinners out with friends. There are Uber rides home, Hinge dates. It can all put a dent in the bank account. So fellas, what do we think about this unfortunate living cost of burden for single people, in particular single women?
I need to know how the single men are faring out there. Smith, how you doing, bro? Smith, how you doing, bro?
So I feel like they should just say like single women. Like I'm trying to figure out.
And then you threw me for a loop, Cass, because at first you said single women, and then it was talking about people. So I was like, hold up, bro.
No, this is about women though. He's adding people on his own.
Smith, how are you doing out there, bro? How are you doing overall? Because if you good, I don't give a fuck about this story.
Damn, son.
But the story is a dumbass story too.
It is.
Well, it's a dumb story because I mean, of course, two is going to be better than one. I mean, common sense, 2 incomes that gives you more money at your disposal. You know what I mean? If you're single and you're going out, all right. So at the end of the day, this is geared towards females, and it says that women who live alone are more likely to have an active social life and maintain their family bonds. Yo, I ain't got shit to say with this dumbass article, yo.
No, I'm sorry, but I gotta attack that point because here's the thing: when you single and you by yourself, of course you're gonna go out more because it's lonely at home. Of course you're gonna reach out to your family because you lonely at home. Okay. The whole thing is when you go and get married, you start your own family. Mm-hmm. So you don't the bonds with your mom, your dad, your cousins. It starts to fade a little bit. It's still there. There's still love, but that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to fucking leave the nest. You ain't supposed to be like, oh, I'm gonna come by every other day and this, that, and the other, call you 3-4 times a week. You know, like you supposed to be like, yo, go build your own life, build your own family.
Yeah.
Like that shit's crazy to me.
Now, the reason why I brought this dumbass story up is because this is how this sets up the narrative that women are now needing to be entitled to these programs that we have seen, we've talked about for the past year or so. So like when you get these sort of woe is me articles, like on the Business Insider, which is a credible website, periodical site, it leads to, well, what could we do for these women? Oh, let's do UBI. Or what else could we do for these women? Oh, let's have Google do some special program for these women. And like, if you kind of go down the line that I'm going and stuff like that. So it's just like I wanted to point that out because it's just like it just goes more to that. All right, well, women are like this sort of helpless creature that they can't necessarily navigate life without more assistance. Because you know something's gonna this sparks for a lot of government and private institution to do more for these.
This ain't talking about single mothers. This shit is talking about single females. Like the fuck.
Yeah, just so the whole thing is this. It's like
you decided that you don't want to.
As we're talking about this, I can think of 4 of my clients that are single, white collar, working professionals. Kelvin knows one of them. You know what I mean? And they're in their 30s. They're making 6 figures. They got a house that has like 3-4 bedrooms, even though they living by themselves. You know what I mean? Like, so they're spending money that doesn't even need to be spent. All right, doesn't make any sense. Why are you buying a 3-4 bedroom house when it's only you? You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. And then you're going out for drinks. You're going out for drinks with your girls, this, that, your friends, whatever the case is. And it's just like, see, that's the difference between women and fellas. Fellas will be like, yo, dog, you want to have some drinks? We're going to watch the game. We're going to do that at one of our homeboys' house. We ain't going to go out and spend money just to be spending money. While women are more likely to go out to a bar or to a restaurant with, 4 or 5 of their girlfriends instead of saying, hey, let's just hang out together at one of our house. One of us cook dinner. Some of us bring drinks and we chill like that.
Yeah, we ain't even carpooling. This shit say we taking Uber rides home.
Yeah.
Yo.
You know what, Chuba, to your point, bro? To your point, I remember I asked my wife about it might have been like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Like when dudes get together, we'll play cards and spades, dominoes, whatever. I said, like, what do women do when they get together in the house? And she was like, yo, we don't. We just like to go out.
Exactly.
Damn, that's it. Really? That was the response?
Like, what do y'all do? Like, what's your female version of spades? What's the female version of dominoes?
They don't even watch movies or TV shows.
Here's the thing.
Yo,
you know which women I have seen stay together in a house or go to each other's house and hang out? Married ones.
Yeah.
But
married women hang out together, watch a movie.
She did say watch movies. She did say that. She did say watch movies. She did say that they would drink. And I'm like, okay, like what activities do y'all do? And then that's where she got stumped and was like, we don't really do nothing else outside of that. We don't play no games. That's crazy because you're playing games in every other aspect of life.
But you also got to remember that statistics have shown that women are the reason why the economic system runs. They're the ones to buy a new outfit every vacation. They need to go on 2 or 3 different vacations, especially when they're single. They need to go on a couple vacations per year. They need to spend a new outfit for every fashion season. All right. They have a stupid amount of shoes, a stupid amount of clothes. Now there's a whole thing called fast fashion where literally you can buy something and it's so cheap to buy, you can literally toss it out and buy a new outfit the next day.
I saw that commercial, bro. Like they deliver you a new outfit like every month, like a box of clothes a week. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, but
so do I feel bad for women for making these poor choices, and then putting themselves in financial limbo and not building a family for themselves, or because someone programmed them into thinking, oh, the patriarchy. This man wants to, wants to get down on one knee and give you a month and a half of his salary and dedicate the rest of his life to you and possibly live and die for you, give you his income, his support, protect you. It's like, oh, God, do you really want to sign up for that type of slavery? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, no, I think a lot of them end up losing in the economy because part of what you said, the wasteful spending. I know even back when, even before I got married, and being married, and opening up the books, and I think Kel went through this too, and seeing how the wasteful spending of your wife is saying, well, shit, you would have more money if you doing a lot of bullshit with your money. So I think that happens a lot with single females, and then once you get them into a situation, and you get to sit down and say, "What the fuck you doing with your money?" Because you making some money, but you just ain't spending it right.
And that conversation be hard, bro.
It is hard because
conversation, because I've been there. That conversation be hard.
I think that's what they're doing. So they're losing because of they want to be spendthrifts. You know, I want to keep up with Shell instead of understanding that she got a two family household. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm sitting here with a single family, but I want to keep up with her and shit. And I want to go on trips and shit like that, like you said. So
the trip shit. You be on IG or Facebook or whatever, these chicks be traveling, and I be looking like, where is this money coming from?
Exactly. They be single and broke.
Yeah.
They be single.
Because I don't see dudes travel like that, man. They travel, but not like that.
Nah, not like that.
But my whole thing is that, like, as a matter of fact, Kevin Samuels did a special on that where he showed this. It was a confession by a writer for, I think, Cosmo magazine. You know, where back in the 70s or back in the 80s and stuff, they basically glorified the whole single life, the Sex and the City life, in order to sell products. Right? She basically came to this whole confessional like, while the editor, the writers, these were all married women that were writing these articles to sell to single women the glory of the life of the whole Sex and the City life. You know, so a lot of women bought into it between the TV show, the magazines, and the now you got IG and all of that. They bought into it. So, whatever.
Just more propaganda out there. My theory is this is just more to set up for government and private incentives to help these women out. That's how I look at it.
I mean, my whole thing is they're not going to cover single men because
they don't. They don't give a shit about Smith.
They don't. But here's the thing: the reality is that they probably won't do it because it'll look too good. It'll be like, listen, these men are saving more money by not going out to the bars and spending it on these chicks. They're not wasting their time with any chick that's not really seriously interested in them. You know what I mean? Like, but back in the day, you used to have to go to the bar, buy a chick a drink, buy her 6 friends drinks, this, that, and the other, just so she could play you out. All right, and be like, oh, nope, I'm not really interested. Wow. You know what I mean? Now you can go on Tinder, swipe left, swipe right, and then you can go through 40 chicks and you get 5 yeses. You save yourself a lot of time and money.
Yeah.
What was that you said? Tinder, how you spell it?
Tinder. Actually, speaking of Tinder, there's a great Netflix documentary. You seen it?
Yeah, I don't even feel bad for them. I don't even feel bad for them chicks. All this swindling that these women been doing. Come on,
my man, that's what I'm talking about, brother.
I'm mad that my man got 5 months. I'm mad that my man got 5 months. I'm like, for what? He didn't rob him.
I think with the forging of identity, that's against the law, and that's why his sentence was so light. But I agree. The brother did. Them bras is dumb. Yeah, we got to say that conversation. Maybe that's like a separate movie documentary review we do on a different day, because that was. There's so much to talk about. Them bras is just dumb. Smith, you seen it?
What?
Let's make that.
Yeah, the Tinder swindler.
No, I didn't watch it yet.
You gotta watch it, brother.
I know the name though, but
I got about 30 minutes left on that.
Next week.
Yeah.
So you got to do a review on that next week.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, next story. Since we all Jersey residents, I thought this was interesting. This is from USA Today. New Jersey and New York are the worst states to retire in, with scores based primarily on cost of living, quality of life, access to healthcare, in addition to 44 other key indicators of retirement friendliness. The findings of Wallet Hub's report aren't very shocking. Florida, the forever of time-worn and winter-weary snowbirds, tops the list as America's best state to retire in. Meanwhile, Virginia, Colorado, Delaware, and Minnesota round up the top 5. For New York and New Jersey, it's the cost of high living that sinks both states as desirable retirement destinations. New York, which boasts the list 7th ranked healthcare system, 12th best quality of life, dropped all the way to 48 on the overall retirement rankings due to its nation.
Damn.
Drop that story in the chat.
Yeah.
When you get a chance.
Yeah. And meanwhile, New Jersey is the second most expensive state to retire in, according to the list. From the Philly Voice, Pennsylvania, New Jersey amongst the state losing the most residents. According to U-Haul Annual Growth Report, Pennsylvania ranked 48th for growth in 2021. New Jersey ranked 36th, up from 48th in 2020. The migration list released Monday is based on the number of one-way U-Haul trips out of each state. New Jersey ranked 9th with a loss of 12,613 people. New Jersey also tops the list for outbound movers. So, fellas, being that we're Jersey residents, we are seeing what's happening with cost of living and everything else. What do we make of our state being dismal when it comes to retirement and cost of living and everything else?
Well, you already know my plans. Once I get that 25th year, I'm bouncing. And it's fun. That's why I wanted to ask you to send me that list, because I didn't think about Colorado as a spot. Not saying I'm going, but
I'm not going to Colorado. I ain't going no fucking where it's cold.
Yes, Nick, Florida. Now that Florida's at the top of that list, I think I heard Virginia, but that's still not giving me the weather I want. But I'm definitely out, man.
Definitely not going to fucking Minnesota.
Hell no.
Fuck. I still got kids. They still killing out in Minnesota. Fuck, ain't nobody going there.
I'm definitely not going there.
Round out the top five.
No, you go to Minnesota.
Top five for black people.
Damn, son.
Hey, Smith, if you go to Minnesota, you will most definitely get retired, okay?
Yeah, for real.
You know what I mean? Like, why is that in the top five? Like,
cheap,
why is that
for
even
next
in the
to
top
nothing.
five? That ain't top five for us. That's
Yo, you know what, Smith?
Definitely retire your ass.
What the fuck, bro?
You dumb, bro. I thought you was talking. I thought you was talking about the cold.
No, I'm talking about the killings.
He's talking about the politics.
He's talking about the cold-hearted
Killing
killing.
Cold-blooded killings, nigga.
Yeah,
You talking about the cold-blooded killings.
Listen, I'm definitely not doing Minnesota.
good.
But they
I'm
only
out.
getting 2 years for killing one. Nah, we good.
Yeah. I'm out. I'm not staying here when it's time to retire. That's already a given.
Yeah.
And honestly, at the forefront of my mind was more so the weather, as opposed to the cost of living. Obviously, wherever we move would be for financial, to better our financial situation, get more for your money. But Jersey really isn't in the plans, honestly, unless I'm keeping the property here, still renting to somebody. But
yeah.
I'm out.
Retire? Yeah, retire. That's like, nah.
Yep.
Not a retirement destination.
Dude, but you staying here?
It's not really the game plan. It's not really the game plan. It's most likely going to be somewhere down south.
Yeah.
Most likely going to be somewhere down south, possibly South Carolina, North Carolina, one of those two.
You think, last question on this, you think Jersey could turn it around so that they don't have this sort of outbound migration?
No. No.
Yeah, shake your thoughts on that real quick.
But the main thing is that it's expensive. If you're retiring, you're not working anymore. You can't keep going with the cost of living keep going up in your state every year. You can't.
But you don't think Jersey could turn that around to make it more
around?
affordable? The
affordability.
affordability.
Hell no. They're going to keep trying to be in New York, and they know they can't. Turn it around. I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
I mean, the reality is the cost of living in any area is depending on the population. And if you have a high population, especially because of job opportunity, where most people are going to come to a metropolis such as New York or the surrounding states of New York, it's going to be high competition. That high competition is going to create, a higher cost of living, because it's like, listen, I could sell this candy bar to you for 50 cents, but that guy over there says he'll give me $2. Well, that lawyer over there says he'll give me $5. That neurosurgeon over there says he'll give me $10. So guess what? Now, your price just went up because, You see what I'm saying? So
$500,000 even in Atlanta is going to do me better than what it's going to do me in New Jersey or New York.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And even if I have to go outside and go to Decatur, I'm still going to do a lot better with $500,000 than I will in New Jersey or fucking New York. Like, that's just the reality of it.
But one of the things that I find interesting with these sort of studies is, all right, when you have all these people leaving New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and they're going south, are they making, for those who are not in retirement, but like folks are not age demographic who's still working, a lot of times what I think people fall short of is your salary gets adjusted when you move to those states. It's just like, are those, I would like to hear that transition for those folks. It's just like, you
people who's not retiring.
Yeah,
I think that's just more so for maybe the opportunity of the market. Like, I don't think they're definitely not just going for the cheaper cost of living.
Yeah,
I mean that might factor into it somewhat. I mean, honestly, the only thing that's cheaper for the most
different opportunities depending on the individual.
Yeah,
I was gonna say it depends on the individual what their
housing market
situation is.
Want to get into the housing market, like Detroit got a good scene as far as trying to turn over some houses right now.
It's cold as hell in Detroit.
No, but listen to what I'm saying. Depending on what the market and what you're doing, like I go, but I do a free flip of these houses and then I move on to someplace else. It just depends. But at the end of the day, New Jersey and New York is always going to be the capita. You know what I mean? Per capita, that shit's gonna be expensive as hell.
It's sad, man, because New Jersey for me, the cold sucks, but it's like it has everything in a sense of, especially where we're located. Like you're near the airport, you're near a lot of stuff, and to just it's just sad that New Jersey can't seem to get it together and figure this out, because it's gonna impact a lot of the homeowners and having to make up that sort of tax law space of people leaving the state.
That's just the price you pay though for living so close to everything.
Yeah.
I can remember Lachelle saying that, Georgia's cheaper, but you gotta drive like 30 minutes to get to, damn everything you want to get to. That's the trade-off.
These are facts. These are facts. All right, one last light-hearted story before I bounce. I thought this was comical. So this is from USA Today. Sirius PGA Tour fires Mark Lye after host says he'd rather shoot himself than watch a WNBA game. Mark Lye Twitter handle is whatever it is. The former Sirius XM PGA Tour host is doing just that on social media site as he defends disparaging comments he made about the WNBA that led to his firing. During a recent episode of The Scoreboard, Lyle said the following: the LGBA tour to me is completely different tour than it was 10 years ago. You couldn't pay me to watch. You really couldn't. But I couldn't relate at all. It's kind of like, if you're a basketball player, I'm not trashing anybody. Please don't take it the wrong way. But I saw some of the highlights of ladies basketball. Man, is there a gun in the house? I'll shoot myself, then watch that. I love watching men's basketball. I love watching men's golf. I never used to like watching ladies golf, but I will tell you this. I've been up close watching these ladies play because I used to have a big function every year called the Lucas Cup, and I have LPGA players and PGA Tour players. So after those damaging words, he got fired from his radio host job. So what do we think, fellas?
I think they took it out of, I know what you said, but I think they took it out of context and shit. I think, look, because he said he ain't trying to trash anybody. He also said that before, like 10 years ago, he wouldn't give a damn about the LGBT golf course shit. He wasn't watching that, right? Yeah. But then he saw it. He was up close and personal and saw it. So I think the narrative changes if he actually goes to a WNBA game and watch it. Because with him, like watching a WNBA game on TV, short of the playoffs, that shit's probably not exciting. Like you know what I mean? But I think him using the expression of I'd rather get a gun and shoot myself than watch this shit is probably the part people are taking the backlash to.
Yeah,
but, you know what I mean? Like it was just his opinion. Like the fuck, he was just saying like what he would do. He would rather, off himself. Then watch chicks play.
He should have said he'd rather shoot himself than watch the NBA. And that nigga would still have a job.
He would still have a job.
See, but that's the bullshit. It's the fact of you can criticize men's sport, with no impunity. But if dare you say something about a woman's sport, then it's some sort of patriarchy or something. Fuck you. It's like, listen, if I have an opinion, regardless if it's a man, a woman, they're black, they're white, they're LGBT, it's my opinion. If I choose to not watch it, I choose not to watch it. If I find women to be boring, I find women to be boring. If I find men to be boring, I find men to be boring. It has nothing to do with, gender. It's just the fact I'm not into it. I got a friend of mine who calls the NFL football bitch rugby. She don't watch football. She don't play football. She don't know shit about football, but she calls it bitch rugby. And I'm like, yo, that's her. She's entitled to her opinion. You know what I mean? Like, so what? She doesn't like it. She thinks it's bitch rugby. Fuck her. That's it. Like, yo, now you can't have an opinion unless it's popular.
Is she Asian?
Huh?
Is she Asian?
Oh shit!
Nah,
Look.
Nah.
Smith mouth got water.
Nah, she's a black female.
My Asian homegirl calls it that. She calls it bitch rugby.
No, I it's a black female.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay.
No, but it's just like, that's the bullshit. It's like, yo, you're not allowed to have an opinion that's not popular. And man, listen.
I thought "shoot myself with a gun" was a term of expression we all used at one point.
I've heard plenty people. I'd rather kill myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather.
Yeah, for them to lose context of that being something that I've heard growing up, and now it's just like people are getting fired. It's unfortunate. All right, fellas.
This goes right back to what I said to you about that a couple weeks ago when I said that the black female is the equivalent to the white male, the white heterosexual male. You can't say shit. You can't. They have all the power.
Yeah.
I see where you're coming from. Power. Yeah. All right. Well, Biden aims to slash cancer by 2047 in half, and the IRS is getting rid of that facial recognition story that we did a couple of weeks ago. So that wraps up the news stories, fellas. I'm out. Have a good one. I'll basically make Mr. Black Zeus the host.